We're gonna need a harness to connect the 600 Pro to the cart. There's a problem though.
We're getting closer and closer, guys. Every day is a little bit closer to getting ready to start planting. But now is the time to really start getting stuff lined up and ready to go. We've been kind of doing little odds and ends here and there, things that need to be done. But as far as equipment goes, it's time to really go through all the trucks, all the tractors, everything we're gonna use to get this crop in the ground. And I'm gonna start off with the old blue Ford, which is over here. Got a tire off the rim, so I'll take that into the tire shop, get that fixed. And then I've got an air leak on it that needs a new air hose put on the back. And there's an oil leak on the engine that's really bad. So a couple odds and ends, but I want this truck running strong because we're gonna need it, because it's gonna be moving, well, 250 tons of fertilizer throughout this whole season. Kind of left it a little muddy. It's okay, it'll shake off, or I'll wash it off. I always love a good lope. It's got a big cam, right? No, it doesn't have a big cam. It's a really small cam. It's low. This truck does not have a lot of power, but it does have a good sound and a pretty reliable running engine. Just got to keep everything else going strong. This truck has been used a lot over the years, so it's put its fair share of work in, but we're not done with them yet. No way. There we go, like that, tire's fixed. Now I'm gonna go back home to come back to town because I'm gonna find that airline, get that fixed. That's the culprit. I taped it together like that because we were in the field and I needed it to not leak air. It must have caught the axle and ripped or something. We'll fix it. All right, well, I'll run to town, see if I can have a hose made that'll fit that, and then get that going. Right, new hose is made. This one looks good. First time ever putting these ends on these airlines before. I've never done that before. You screw one end of it on left hand, and then you screw the other one in on right hand. It threads, and it expands and locks it on. So hopefully this works. We'll throw it on and check the air pressure on the truck, make sure it holds air. If it does, yes. Hate low air on trucks. Stuff hissing, that's annoying. Hose is on. So far, no hissing. That's good. Liking that. Let's check the gauge, see what we're got to now. I fired it up. It's been running for a little bit. Something's hissing back here, but it's not bad. We're already at 50 pounds. Before it was a struggle to even get to 25 idling. That's good. Pulling the hood up. Dad noticed the alternator belts were literally almost off. The alternator must have somehow gotten loose. As you can see, we put a new one on it. Well, we must not have tightened it properly or whatnot, so it wasn't even turning. So if we had battery problems, that's what was going on. It wasn't even charging. Power steering pump off a 350 engine. Working great. The old one was shot. Couldn't get it anymore. So I modified and got that on there. But it was out of oil because the hose wasn't tight enough. But that's okay. We're good now. Engine oil's good. Power steering's good. Coolant's good. Got to grease a little bit around on it. I think that truck's gonna be ready to roll. Hope it's reliable. It's been good all these years. Should keep going. I'm gonna wrap this up for tonight, but let's park this thing.
We have this air carton here with the 600 big butt over there being worked on, if you're just getting stuff ready. Well, what we do need to do is we have a box right there that has a new harness for the other air drill. And we would like to go ahead and just put that on their air drill, make sure everything's good. That means we got to get the 5 1/4 big bud, go hook it up to the air cart, bring it in front of the shop, and we'll start pulling off all the harness, putting the new harness on, and then we'll hook up the hydraulics, check everything out, and maybe start putting rollers and stuff in there. While we're doing that, this one will still be in the shop and we'll keep working on it. Ready to go?
Yeah, and then when you talk about harnesses, it sounds like we're getting the animals already. So let's get those beasts harnessed.
But we're in control. That's the
Yes.
key. Yeah, I hope. Let's do this. You're probably wondering, why are we changing the harness out? There's a big reason for that. The old harness has a lot of issues with it. The main problem is you cannot diagnose the issues that occur. So if the meter stops rolling, it could be a sensor, it could be maybe the electric motor, it could be something else that's going on. Well, we have a 600 Pro monitor and it's been sitting on the shelf for quite a few years. Come to find out, we can use that and it can speak to the new harness, new brain box, and you can diagnose the problems on there. Because this system is a low voltage system, there's 4 wires that it runs all the information through. It can cause problems with your meter calibration or just when you're down seating, and so your rate could be put on wrong, which we've had many problems with that in the past. We're just super excited about changing this all out, getting the new harness, the new brain box, and then we can speak to it a little bit easier and figure out what's going on with the problems. Okay, enough talking, let's get this done. Took the harness out of the box, found out which one's the front and the back, and now I'll take that and stream it over to the cart and start plugging away. We're gonna need a harness to connect the 600 Pro to the cart. There's a problem though. It got cut in a few places, and that means I gotta extend the wiring and do some soldering. Luckily for me, I've got a whole box of just tons and tons and tons of wires and connectors to make that happen. And then I gotta extend onto the new harness, which is right over here, to the 600 Pro monitor. So about 12 feet, solder about 6 wires, cut off a few things, heat shrink, make everything pretty. Yeah, I think it's gonna go well. Let's do this. Hey Nick, are you cleaning the shop?
No.
Emily just cleaning the shop.
I ain't cleaning the trucks though.
He's cleaning the trucks, that works. At least he's cleaning something.
Okay, what we have going on here, we've been working on the air drills to deliver the seed from the cart to the planter uses plastic hose, 2.5-inch diameter hose, and there's 8 on this cart. Well, coming off the back end here is the products flowing and a lot of velocity and product heading down. Well, what happens after a number of years of use is they start wearing a hole on the bottom of a curve or wherever the product is hitting. And you can see here we put a temporary patch and just kept seeding, and then you get more patches. Well, finally, this set of hoses are now worn enough that I'm just going to replace them all. I got a 100-foot roll, and they're about 8-foot sections, and there's 8 of them. Well, it's cold out here, and plastic doesn't like cold weather. It's pretty stiff. So what I did, the only way I could really get them off, because they're rusted on there because of the fertilizer, is take this little reciprocating air saw, and I sliced the tube right around the tube, the plastic, and then I was able to pull it off. I cleaned it up with a brush and got them all smooth again so I can slip the pipe in. So I'll show you that process of what I'm going to have to do because it's cold to be able to slip onto that 2.5-inch pipe. You need something warm. So I'll show you. Okay, I've heated this up, this end. It's squeezable. I think I got about hot enough. And I'll put a little bit of this soapy water on there, help slide it on. And then we'll slip it on there and then go to the next one. Okay, I've got half of them done. 4 more left to go. So, but it's getting close to lunch. I think it's about an hour. That's about time enough to go and work on my appetite. And then coffee.
Next up on the list, even though we've been using it, is the green Ford. This is our seed truck. We use this to haul clean seed from our bins to our air seeders. Need this truck running strong because without this truck, we're not getting seed to the air drills and we're not getting seed in the ground. There's some air leaks on this. There's a number of things. I need to go through it. I need to grease, oil, everything like I did the other truck. But we do have the pup hooked up to it. And the pup is full of cleanings or screenings that need to go into the elevator when they start taking wheat. Right now they're not because they're doing maintenance. So I got to park this thing. I'd like to get out of this field because we're going to plant this field here. So I'll probably drive it around, park it somewhere else, unhook the tongue, drop it, leave the pup. We'll just get that later down the road. And then I'll drive the tandem here, green Ford, over to the shop, start doing the maintenance to it and get it rolling. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done to this truck. On that one started on its own, but it did start. Mechanical pump, sometimes if you floor it, kind of like a gas old carbureted engine, it's amazing. It'll actually help them start. At least that's what I found. So. looking at this, not really what I wanted to do, but all these triangle supports off the main channel of the bed, the box, breaking out. I see cracks along all these. I knew they were getting kind of bad, but it's looking like it needs probably welded up. Which means I gotta pressure wash this off really well because there's mud everywhere because just got done dragging this thing through mud. And then get the wire brush, grind it down, clean it up as good as I can, and bring the welder out and start welding on it. So that needs done. I'll put that on a list of things. I'll go ahead and go through and grease and lube the truck first because that still works, but I want that done before we start really putting loads on this thing. And then I'll just inspect everything else. Okay. It's not the prettiest, but those welds will definitely help the situation. I think it's got some cracks up on this side too. So I gotta lower the bed down to do that. But at least the base is pretty solid now. I wanted that strong. It's still got weld up and down the whole thing. It's just every time a little crack starts, it's a little less surface area that's not attached to the channel frame on this thing. So I like to try to keep it tight, but we'll see. That should work. Done. Good. That truck's ready to roll. Now to find the next thing to do. Still a lot, but we're getting there. Scott and Dad are working hard on the other stuff, so whatever progress I'm making, they're making like triple.
They're talking a little bit of snow, which means it's gonna get muddy. So we're figuring we'll use the 7140 to go grab the other Flexa coil, get it out of the mud, bring it over to the shop, probably wing it out, and then we can inspect it and find out what else we got going on. And this air drill is basically done, just a few things to wrap up on it.
We got Nick cleaning the shop, finally.
Finally. That guy's been pretty lazy. I don't know.
Sort of.
Sort of. All right, let's go get some work done. We looked over the air drill, we found a couple bushings that need to be changed out, just small ones. Okay, got some slack in it. Now I gotta take the snap ring off and try to pull out that bushing and put the new one in. That's pretty sweet. There's only 3 of them out on this one. Okay, let's clean up some stuff, grease this thing, and then we'll keep checking other stuff. For the most part, looks pretty good. We could probably seed a couple thousand acres with it. What we have to do here is there's a bushing and a wear sleeve that's inside here that's completely gone. We don't want the metal to be wearing on the bolts, so we got to take this bolt out, drop it down, take out that wear bushing and sleeve, and hopefully it's not wore out too much, and if it is, we might have to weld on it. We'll figure it out. Replace it, put it back, but we got this handy dandy crane to lift it up a little bit, take the bolt out, and drop it back down, and then we can do our work. Sweet. One, actually two things down.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Took all day for me to do that.
Actually, why is Nick's face so clean? It's like really shaved. Like this is like,
I've taken 6 showers today. What of it?